Think about it. Your life is filled with things that add no real value, only weighing you down and draining your energy. But have you ever asked yourself why you're still holding on to them? Sometimes the strongest action isn't making a big noise, but quietly removing what's toxic from your life. Let go of self-destructive habits too. And remember, you don't need anyone's permission to do it. In today's video, I'll show you how to apply Stoic philosophy to let go of what's beyond your control and free yourself. Life is too short to be trapped in other people's expectations. I'll walk you through 10 things that are causing chaos in your life, not just physically, but mentally, draining you every single day. No more delays. Start now, in silence, with no excuses. 1. Let go of what no longer serves you. What you choose to let go of says more about who you are than what you hold on to. Are you truly ready to start living? But before we begin, listen to this story. A story that will help you understand the deep wisdom hidden within this lesson. In a remote coastal village, there was a young fisherwoman named Elena. She was known for her ability to navigate the roughest waters and catch fish even on the most difficult days. But over the years, Elena had accumulated a pile of torn nets, broken tools, things that no longer served a purpose but that she kept out of habit. As a result, every time she set sail, her boat was packed with useless items. One day, as she was preparing for a trip, a sudden storm rolled in. Violent waves crashed against her boat, and Elena realized that it wasn't just the storm that threatened her. It was the weight of everything she had been holding on to. For hours, she struggled against the storm, but she couldn't deny that her real enemy wasn't just the sea. It was the unnecessary burden she had refused to release. At the edge of despair, Elena made a difficult but necessary decision. She began throwing away what no longer had value. She let go of the torn nets, tossed aside the worn-out ropes, and even parted with a few personal items she had clung to for sentimental reasons, despite them serving no real purpose. With each discarded item, her boat grew lighter, giving her the control she desperately needed. The waves were still fierce, but this time she was no longer weighed down by the past. Because of that decision, Elena was able to regain her balance, and finally, when the storm passed, she made it safely back to the harbor, exhausted but alive. Other fishermen gathered around her, asking how she had survived. Elena simply smiled and said, "There are times in life when we hold on to things we don't need, objects, memories, or even people, that only make our journey heavier. It's only when we dare to let go, quietly and without resistance, that we find the freedom to move forward with ease." The lesson from this story is clear. Sometimes, the things we cling to are the very things that hold us back. Only by letting go can we truly find our path. And before we dive into the first lesson, if you find these insights valuable, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. 2. Fear of judgment from others. There's a story that says one day, Epictetus saw a young man worrying about his reputation. He was afraid of what others thought of him, afraid of being judged, and terrified of doing something that might displease people. Epictetus simply smiled and said, "Do you want to be free? Then learn to care less about what is beyond your control." We often spend too much time worrying about other people's opinions. But the truth is, everyone is too busy with their own lives. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You will stop caring so much about what others think of you when you realize how seldom they do." People are so absorbed in their own concerns that they rarely spend much time judging us. So why waste our lives chasing their expectations? The fear of judgment makes us lose ourselves. We change our behavior, try to please others, and forget our own values. But Stoicism teaches us that what truly matters is not what others think, but whether we are living with reason and virtue. The solution? Focus on your own decisions. Start by saying no to what doesn't align with you. Not everyone will be pleased, but that's the price of freedom. As Seneca said, if you want to please everyone, you will lose yourself. 3. Toxic relationships. Once Seneca wrote to his friend Lucilius saying, "Spend time with those who make you better, and in turn, help them improve. If not, stay away." This is one of the core principles of Stoicism. We must be selective about the relationships we allow in our lives. Many people stay in toxic relationships out of fear. Fear of being seen as heartless, fear of loneliness, or fear of hurting others. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, remember, you have one life. Don't waste it on people who drain your energy. No one is obligated to remain in relationships that bring them misery, just to avoid being judged. Stoicism teaches that while we cannot control other people's actions, we can control our reactions. If someone treats us poorly, we have two choices. Let them continue affecting us, or step away from that relationship with calm resolve. As Epictetus once said, when someone behaves badly, that is their problem. When you let it upset you, that is your problem. So instead of getting caught up in conflict and negativity, learn to let go with peace of mind. No drama, no resentment, just a quiet departure for the sake of your own well-being, because a calm mind is worth more than any relationship. 4. Self-destructive habits. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, you have power over your mind, do not waste it on trivial things. Yet in modern life we easily fall into self-destructive habits, mindlessly scrolling through our phones, consuming unnecessary information, or engaging in seemingly harmless behaviors that gradually erode our willpower. Epictetus said, every small action contributes to shaping who you are. A single extra cup of coffee might ruin your sleep, a mindless movie binge could delay important tasks, and unconscious moments on social media might steal your precious focus. These habits don't destroy us immediately, but like waves relentlessly eroding a rock, they slowly weaken our discipline and energy. The Stoic solution is self-awareness. Seneca advised, take time each day to reflect. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? Am I wasting time on things that don't matter? When we recognize our unhelpful habits, we can begin to change them, not through drastic measures, but by making small, deliberate adjustments. A moment of silence instead of scrolling, a meaningful book instead of mindless content, a workout instead of procrastination. Because in the end, as Marcus Aurelius said, your life is the sum of your repeated actions. Choose actions that strengthen you rather than those that pull you down. 5. The need to control everything. Epictetus once said, your happiness depends on the quality of your thoughts, not on things beyond your control. Yet people often make the mistake of trying to control everything, from others' opinions and the outcome of events, to even the weather or the economy. Worrying about the uncontrollable leaves our minds in a constant state of stress and unease. Imagine carrying a backpack full of rocks. Each rock represents something you're trying to control, people's opinions, work outcomes, or even your own future. The more you hold on to, the heavier the load, draining your energy. But what if you stopped, opened the backpack, and slowly let go of the unnecessary weight? Stoicism teaches us a crucial principle. Distinguish between what you can control and what you cannot. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your thoughts, actions, and reactions, but you cannot control the world. So why waste energy on what you cannot change? The solution is letting go, not with indifference, but with acceptance. If it rains, you can carry an umbrella, but you cannot stop the rain. If someone dislikes you, you can be kind, but you cannot force them to change their mind. Instead of resisting reality, embrace it and focus on the one thing you can control, yourself. Seneca wisely said, we suffer not from events themselves, but from our perception of them. When we learn to let go, we don't just feel lighter, we also live more fully. 6. Unrealistic expectations. Seneca once said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. When we set excessively high expectations, we put unnecessary pressure on ourselves. If things don't go as planned, we quickly fall into disappointment, frustration, and self-doubt. But the real issue is not the outcome, it's the expectations we set in the first place. Many people believe they must succeed immediately, never make mistakes, or reach some unrealistic standard of perfection. However, this is a mental trap. Epictetus warned, if you expect the world to conform to your desires, you will always be disappointed. But if you accept the world as it is, you will find peace. Instead of setting impossible standards, learn to reassess your expectations. This doesn't mean giving up ambition. It means focusing on progress over perfection. Ask yourself, is this expectation truly necessary? Does it help me grow, or does it only drain me? Take inspiration from the Stoics. They never expected life to be easy. Instead, they prepared themselves for adversity. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, when you wake up in the morning, remind yourself that you will encounter betrayal, injustice, and envy, but do not let these things trouble you. In other words, instead of expecting a perfect day, prepare yourself to face reality. The solution is simple but powerful. Set realistic goals, focus on being better than yesterday, and accept that not everything will go as planned. When we learn this, we don't just reduce disappointment, we find a deeper sense of peace in life. 7. Digital noise. In the modern world, noise doesn't just come from the streets or traffic, it comes from our screens and social media. The constant ping of notifications, endless news feeds, and short, stimulating videos keep our minds scattered. Seneca once warned, "No wind is favorable for the sailor who doesn't know where he is going." When we drown ourselves in meaningless information, we are letting others dictate our attention. Social media and news platforms are designed to keep us engaged for as long as possible. Each time we unlock our phones, we mindlessly scroll from one video to the next, unaware of how much time slips away. Epictetus taught, "If you wish to be in control of your life, control what you consume." This means we must consciously choose what deserves our time and eliminate distractions. The solution is not to abandon technology entirely, but to use it with intention. Turn off unnecessary notifications, limit social media usage, and create tech-free moments throughout the day. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Take time for yourself." Instead of checking your phone first thing in the morning, spend a few minutes meditating, reading, or simply enjoying the quiet. When we reduce digital noise, we gain a calmer mind, sharper focus, and a more meaningful life. Because ultimately, silence is not just a break, it is the key to living with intention. 8. Negative thoughts. The human mind tends to cling to negative thoughts, repeating them until they feel like absolute truths. When faced with difficulties, we often ask, "What's the worst that could happen?" instead of, "What can I do to improve this?" Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, it is not the thing itself that troubles you, but your perception of it." This reminds us that negative thoughts, not external events, are the real source of our suffering. Stoicism does not teach us to suppress negative emotions, but to recognize and manage them. When a negative thought arises, instead of letting it consume us, we should ask, "Is this really true? And does this thought help me in any way?" Epictetus explained, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by their perception of things." Once we understand that thoughts are merely thoughts, we can choose not to be controlled by them. A powerful technique is distancing, separating yourself from your negative thoughts. Imagine observing your mind as a spectator, rather than getting caught up in its turmoil. Write down your worries, analyze them objectively, and ask yourself, if a friend were in my situation, what advice would I give them? Negative thoughts will never disappear entirely, but we can learn not to let them dictate our actions and emotions. Because when we master our minds, we master our lives. 9. Clutter in your space and mind. Your living space is a reflection of your state of mind. A cluttered room filled with unnecessary objects can weigh down your thoughts and create mental chaos. Seneca once said, "If a man does not know to which port he is sailing, no wind is favorable." When our minds are overwhelmed by disorder, it becomes difficult to focus on what truly matters. The philosopher Epictetus taught, "True wealth is not about having more, but needing less." Look around and ask yourself, do I really need all of this? Clutter not only takes up physical space, but also drains mental energy. A tidy environment fosters a sense of calm and clarity. The first step to overcoming clutter is intentional decluttering. Instead of trying to clean everything at once, start with a small area, your desk, a single drawer, or a closet. With every item you discard, you're also learning to let go mentally, freeing yourself from unnecessary burdens. Beyond decluttering your physical space, take time to organize your thoughts. Journaling, meditation, or simply spending a few minutes breathing deeply can help clear your mind. When your surroundings and thoughts are in order, you will feel lighter and more focused on what truly matters. 10. Energy drains that serve no purpose. Each day, we have a limited amount of mental and physical energy. If we waste it on unnecessary things, we won't have enough left for what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, "You always have the option of having no opinion. Do not waste your energy on things that do not deserve it." Energy drains can come from people, work, or even recurring thoughts in our minds. A stressful relationship, an unfulfilling project, or constant worries about things beyond our control. Each of these can exhaust us. Epictetus taught, freedom is not the ability to do whatever you want, but not being bound by things that do not matter. Ask yourself, is this truly worth my energy? The solution doesn't have to be dramatic or confrontational. You don't need to announce that you're cutting ties with someone or explain why you're leaving a job. Simply step back. Reduce interactions with those who drain you, decline projects that no longer serve you, and observe your own thoughts. When we learn to let go, we grant ourselves peace. Focus is a precious resource. Don't let unnecessary distractions steal it. Invest your energy in things that truly add value, help you grow, and allow you to live a meaningful life. If you found Stoic philosophy valuable in this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated on deep insights that help you live with strength and serenity. Leave a comment and share which lesson resonated with you the most. What in this video made you reflect or inspired you to take action? Let's cultivate a Stoic mindset together and take control of our lives.